Well, hello there. Long time no see. Sorry about that. But I have returned again with another ranked battle for you guys. Before we start, I'm just gonna do a super quick team preview, just so you guys know what I'm working with here. As always, though, you can just skip right ahead to the battle if you so desire. I promise I'll be quick this time, though. Alright, so first up, we got our lead, Scarf Gengar. And of course, the star of the show, Swords Dance Diggersby. Next up, we got physically defensive Volcarona. And then physically defensive Ferrothorn. And specially defensive Mantine. And then finally, we have a Choice Band Weavile. If you are interested in knowing more about this team, or if you want to see it in action some more, there's going to be a link in the card above right about now. And I'll probably link it at the end of this video as well. Alright, well, anyway, let's get into the battle. Alright, so we have Elite Excadrill here, which is a little odd, but I assume that means he's probably running a more offensive team. So I just go right on to Mantine to avoid the Earthquake, or to get rid of his rocks right away if he decides to go for that. He does go for Earthquake though, so I decide to double out into my Ferrothorn in case he tries to be cheeky and go for Rock Slide. He does switch out though into his own Ferrothorn. I figure he's probably going to try and set up his hazard, so I take the opportunity to go into my Volcarona and threaten him out. And he does set up a layer of spikes. Now, I'm not going to set up right away because it's too early and I don't know his team yet, so I just go for Flamethrower right away to scout what his answer to this is. Plus, Quiver Dancing turn 1 is a very common play, so he could easily take advantage of that by crippling me with T-Wave or Toxic or something, so I could catch him on an over-prediction as well. But he does make the obvious switch into his Azumarill. I was expecting that, but I don't usually like to make predictions this early because I don't know how my opponent plays yet. There's a juicy PvP tip for you. Anyway, so I went into my Ferrothorn, and he does predict my switch and goes for Play Rough, but he predicted the wrong poke. The prediction on his part does tell me that he knows what he's doing though, which is good information. Since he did not reveal an item on his Azumarill, I double back to my Volcarona to scout if he's banded or not, since he'll definitely go for Superpower if he's not locked in. And he does reveal that he's not banded, as he does indeed go for Superpower. Now that he's at -1 attack, I take the opportunity to go into my Mantine to get rid of the spikes. He does make the same play as last time though, going into his Ferrothorn, so I'll make the same play here as well and go into my Volcarona. This time he Leech Seeds, but I don't really care since we've learned that my opponent knows what he's doing. I'm going to go for Flamethrower again, expecting him to overpredict and stay in. He actually protects though, so I'm thinking he's going to switch to Azumarill this time. So I go for Giga Drain as he switches out into Slowbro. So technically I did get the prediction right. He did switch into a water type. I'm not confident that Giga Drain can kill now with that Leech Seed recovery. I know I can take the hit, but I'd prefer to keep my Volcarona healthy for later. I have other ways of dealing with this thing, so the risk doesn't seem worth the reward. But Excadrill actually comes in here as I switch into Ferrothorn, so it seems he didn't want to take the risk either. This is the perfect scenario for me though. Ferrothorn is my counter to this, so I'm just gonna start setting up on it. He actually predicts a switch into Mantine again and goes for Rock Slide, but I don't agree with this play because why would I switch out? Ferrothorn is a counter to this. I think he's gonna switch out now that I've shown that I can beat him, so I go for Knockoff. I considered Stealth Rock, but I hadn't seen anything yet that would really be hindered by the presence of rocks. Plus he has a spinner and hazard stacking, while Defog is my only way of removing hazards. So I wanted to get rid of one of those before trying to get my own hazards up. He actually has Swords Dance though, and tries to set up on me, which I think is a bad idea, but okay. He must need damage on this for something. Oh, and he also had a Razor Claw, which is weird. I guess he didn't have the item he wanted for this. Anyway, I just go for the kill here before things get out of hand. I do take out the Excadrill, and then he goes into his own Volcarona. Well, this is why we have Mantine, also for rain. Anyway, so I go into Mantine as he sets up right away, like everyone does. And here's where the game takes a turn. Yes, that's right. He has HP Electric. So I'm like, well, fuck me in the ass and call me Sally. I do manage to live though and get rid of his boosts. I contemplated switching into Diggersby since he would obviously be immune and can hit back hard. But I'm afraid he'll set up again on my switch. With Mantine at this health, she can't take another hit from this range, so if I switch and he sets up again, I'm fucked. That's why I sack Mantine here, to make sure he doesn't get away with a free boost. So now that he has no boosts, I can send in Diggersby, since he can take a hit and hit back hard. He does decide to keep his Volcarona and goes into Slowbro, who does not take this hit very well. From this range, I'm confident Frustration can take him out. And it does. It was a crit though, so it might have mattered. It depends on the roll I got, but I'd have to be really unlucky to get a roll low enough to not take him out. While on the other hand, he would have had to get a very high roll to knock me out. So now he goes into a Azumarill to kill me, so I make an obvious switch into Ferrothorn. He does go for Aqua Jet though, so I eat it up, but I double out immediately into my Diggersby again because I was expecting Volcarona to come back in again, and I cannot allow that thing to come in for free. He actually stays in to take me out with Superpower, which I don't agree with at all. My Ferrothorn is not a threat to him. In fact, it is great setup fodder for him, which is why I don't understand this play. And by taking out my Ferrothorn, he's weakening his Azumarill for me and leaving it open to be used as setup fodder. In fact, the best play for him would have been to sack his Azumarill to my Ferrothorn, because that would have given him a guaranteed free switch into Volcarona to set up and fuck me over. Of course, I was never going to stay in on this Azumarill in the first place, but I'm just making a point. So anyway, I decide to go into Gengar to finish off Azumarill, but he makes another bad play here and switches into Ferrothorn. So now I can do what he should have done to me and go into my Volcarona. This time I am going to set up though. But he does switch into Clefable, revealing his last mon. It seems as though he wants a setup war, so I'll oblige. Even if he has T-Wave, I don't really care. I can get rid of the speed debuff in a couple of turns. And I'll be so beefy that even if I do get paralyzed a few times, I'll probably be fine. I'd swap back to Gengar, but I'm scared of that Volcarona setting up on me, so I feel like this is my best opportunity to bring the game back in my favor. Speaking of Gengar, I want to use this time to explain my thought process earlier. Honestly, Gengar wasn't the best switch for me in that situation, but that depends on his Volcarona set. I was thinking about going into my Volcarona instead, but I was afraid Giga Drain would fail to KO and he'd be able to take me out from that range I was at with the combination of Waterfall plus Aqua Jet, even at -1. But I mean, I was kind of in a bad position no matter what I did, because his Volcarona was really difficult for my team to handle due to that surprise HP Electric. And I think he was probably a defensive one too, looking at the damage he did with HP Electric. Which means he was probably running Roost, which also means that I'd be fucked if I got caught in on Gengar or Weavile, and would leave a Volcarona versus Volcarona matchup likely up to chance. But this matchup, on the other hand, is in my favor. My main attack hits for neutral damage, while his isn't very effective. And my special attack, along with like pretty much all my other stats, are naturally higher than his, so I can do more damage to him than he can do to me. The only obstacle in this matchup is Moonblast's broken special attack drop chance. And don't even try to tell me that it's not broken, because if you think that, you've probably never even seen or used Moonblast before.
And this is the moment you've all been waiting for. This turn, one of these faggots will get a crit. But who will walk away victorious? And will the unlucky party be able to bring back the game from the clutches of defeat once their champion falls? Will U-turn ever be fixed? Will Lucy ever start uploading on a regular basis? Find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh hey, I won. Well, I mean, he could still come back from... Uh-oh. Well, you know, maybe... Yeah, spoiler alert, he's not coming back from this. That was a good game though. That HP Electric really caught me off guard, and he definitely could have won thanks to that, but unfortunately he choked. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed though. See you in the next one, maybe? Bye-bye.